So it's directed by Crispin Mills. It's co-written by Henry Fitzherbert, who I should say is a former film critic and colleague, somebody with whom I've shared a screening room on many occasions. Set in a posh boarding school where future leaders and world stars are made. Our young hero is sent there. He doesn't want to go there, but his mother is sending him there against his wishes. We see this kind of brochure at the beginning, voiced by Michael Sheen, about Slaughterhouse and its tradition and old slaughtarians. And I think the motto is something like, glory through slaughter, something on those lines. I'm misquoting, but anyway, but the school has a dark secret lurking in its woods. Suspicion is raised by the fact that there are huge fracking towers that have been erected just beyond, where the school is, and the grounds seem to be constantly on the point of being about to bubble over and explode. Simon Pegg is the teacher who has become bereft at the loss of his romantic interest. Michael Sheen is the headmaster who cares about only two things: money and his dog, who is called Mr. Chips. Excellent. Here's a clip.
Meredith! Yes? I heard you were out jogging. Didn't you get my note about the no-go areas?
Yes, sorry about that, Headmaster. Be assured my prefects have been instructed and the areas have been locked down.
Good. Now's not the time for the boys to be slipping off to the old haunts. The woods, the lakes, ciggies and tongue sandwiches, that sort of thing.
Perish the thought, Headmaster.
And how are things with you, Meredith? You seemed rather upset. Taking Audrey to the airport.
Oh, I was just, a bit sorry to see her go, Headmaster. She was quite a loss to the school.
Don't sweat it, Meredith. You had a school romance. Delicious. While it lasts. But these things always end up in a bloody mess. The only couple I know still going strong are me and Mr. Chips. Isn't that right, Chippy? Rawr! Rawr! Rawr!
That's very good.
That's Michael Sheen enjoying himself.
He was
enormously.
having a love there.
Now, I have to say that for me, that's the best stuff in the movie. The best stuff in the movie is the public school stuff. It opens with a gag about if, which is aiming high, to be honest, but, that's fine. And all that, I think that's a kind of spiritual touchstone for what the film's attitude to, there's this thing about this is the place where future leaders are made, and that's a terrifying thought. After that, it becomes a rather more confusing hodgepodge of sort of Shaun of the Dead horror comedy riffs. The fact that you've got Nick Frost and Simon Pegg there, ups the Shaun of the Dead connection. There are a couple of shots which are rather ill-advisedly attempt to evoke Edgar Wright. Shoom, shoom, close-ups on, the thing that Edgar Wright does, which if you're ever making a movie with Pegg and Frost, don't do the thing that Edgar Wright does. The main problem with it, I think some of it's fun, some of it isn't. And the main problem is tonal. It does look like a movie that's pulling in several different directions at once. And of course, if you remember, when Shaun of the Dead was first coming out, it was described as a rom-zom-com. And that was the gag, is that it's a romantic comedy and it's a zombie movie put together, although that wasn't the first time that had ever happened. And that marriage worked very well. In this case, it looks to me like something that lost its way in the edit. It looks to me like a film that kind of sort of lost its identity somewhere in the edit. So in the end, it's a sort of generally, there are moments in it that are fun and there are things in it that I like. Overall, I think it doesn't hang together. And what it needs is a much more coherent feel. But there are individual things in it that work well. And one of them is Michael Sheen doing that ciggies and tongue sandwiches stuff, which even just listening to it then,
There's a funny clip.
Yeah, I think it might well develop. When it comes out on DVD, I think there are people that will see it and enjoy it and watch it over and over again. I do think, however, that it is severely all over the place, and it does look. Sometimes you get a feeling that you just think in the process of making something, it lost sight of exactly what it was trying to be, and I think this is a classic case of that.